G'day gorgeous people. Thank you for joining me today. This one is a slightly longer video. It goes for 20 minutes. What I do, in case you're new to my channel, I am a married mum of 3 beautiful girls, and I create scrapbooking content almost every day, pretty much every day. Over the weekend, I usually give myself a bit of a break and I do things with my family. But 9 times out of 10, there's a video up every day. So let's get the horrible bit out of the way first. The bit that I'm not very good at. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, I would love to see you subscribe before you leave so you can get notified when I pop up some new content. And I traditionally like doing 12 by 12 scrapbooking pages, and I use anything and everything. I do everything from mixed media to different kinds of products from anywhere and everywhere. That's what I do. So let's get that bit of laundry out of the way. Now let's get into the video. What are you looking at? 12 by 12. Duh. Okay, so something that some of you may have just noticed, and I don't think I've said it for a couple of videos, so I better chuck it in. I scrapbook and I use Creative Memories albums, and those albums are actually, the pages themselves are 11.5 by 12. I haven't needed to upgrade albums and buy new albums, so the new ones might be 12 by 12, but at the moment I'm working on an 11.5 by 12 inch page. That's what I'm working on. Now, I have never done one of these starbursty looking things. So learn with me. Learn the mistakes with me. I saw one done. I don't even know who did it. I don't know. I think it may have been Janet Fritz, actually, from Galaxy Girl Creations. I think it was her. And she did a starbursty looking thing. So I thought, I'm going to give this a crack. Can't be that hard, surely. It's only a piece of paper. Let's face our fears. Although it's a beautiful piece of paper. It is, in fact, a Stampin' Up! Hues of Happiness piece of paper. I am not a Stampin' Up! Seller. I just happen to know someone that sells it, and I saw these papers and I went, I've got to have me some of that. So I did. Thanks, Tina. So basically I sort of thought, okay, I didn't want the centerpiece to be right in the center, so it is a little skewed, and that was okay. Now, what I'm actually doing, so you saw right at the very beginning I had 4 photos, and they were 4 very similar photos, just my daughter jumping on the trampoline, practicing her split jumps and side jumps and whatever else she does with her gymnastics. She's a competitive gymnast, and we actually had a comp on the weekend, and she did really well. She came in 7th on bars, which was really good. And yeah, still got a lot of things to work on. She's just leveled up, so she's just gone up to the next level. So yeah, there's a little bit of work that has to get put in, but that's okay. We're all good with that. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So sometimes I had someone make a comment on my Facebook the other day, and they said, oh, can you get back to me with this? And I said, when I'm finished being mum's taxi, and in brackets I put gymnastics mum life, because, you know, it's a lot of running around. Anyone with children in sports that are lucky enough to have their child in sport and can afford to have their child in sport, that in itself is a triumph. And then to have your child absolutely love the sport they're in, that is, I feel like it's made. I feel like I've got it made when that happens, like it just, yeah, it's one of those things. I'll get off my soapbox. But okay, so that sort of looks a bit like a starbursty looking thing. I wanted it to be more uneven than that. I wanted it to sort of have some bits come in a bit and some bits go out a bit. Now, for my regular subscribers, I do not normally edit the daylights out of my stuff, okay? I don't do that. This video, because it took so long to do, I have had to cut some bits. I leave in most of the process. So I start the process, I show you how I do it. I do it a little bit and then I've just cut a little bit of that away. I apologize because that is not my style and that is not what I offer on my channel. I like this space to be a relatively unedited space. And I have sped this up 4 times. So it did take me the majority of yesterday to complete this page. And yeah, so I have unfortunately had to cut some bits out. Okay, so what are you looking at the moment? This is called Gold Basics by Gold Basics 1.1, and it's gold foiled paper, and it's from Paper Rose Studios, and it's a 12 by 12 deluxe paper. I love this stuff. I swear to God, it's so pretty. You probably couldn't do a whole page using, that as your background, but wow. I just love the shine and the reflection that you get from it. It's just awesome. Now, I have done a video similar to this where it was more even and I obviously used different papers, all that sort of stuff. But this one, I wanted to do this Starburst thing. What I'm actually trying to create is, if you can just imagine a child doing a star jump going, wow, with their arms and their legs. That's the feeling I'm trying to create with this background. I know sometimes we look at our photos or the story that we want to tell, and because I'm very big on telling the story. So the photos, when I scrap certain things, it's because it's the story that went with the photos. This one, the story for me is the fact that she is jumping so darn high in these photos. She's nearly jumping out of the trampoline, and all I see her doing every time she does it is, woohoo, wow, yeah. Like, she's a funny little thing. But that's what I see her doing. And that's what I tried to recreate. I wanted to do the little sunbursty thing because I hadn't done one before, and I thought that would lend itself to the wow factor. And the other one that I did was ages ago. So, and these are different colors. So, what else can I tell you? What can I tell you about how cold is it today? Wowza. If you're an Aussie and you're a Queenslander, you feel my pain today? Seriously, I got up at 6 o'clock and it was 7 degrees. What is going on? That is insane for Queensland. If you're one of my beautiful subscribers from Canada, England, I have some in New Zealand, I have some in Vancouver, I have all different places. Vancouver, you're probably, and Canada, you're probably saying to me, suck it up, princess, you don't get snow where you are. And you know what? I'm glad I don't, because as much as I want to go and see the snow, I'm led to believe by my husband, who has been to the snow. He's like, I can guarantee you, we are going to drive down to the snowfields. We're going to get there. You're going to feel how wet it is and how hard it is, and you're going to be disappointed. Tell me I'm wrong, people. Tell me I'm wrong. I hope that it's nice and fluffy and, I don't know. Maybe at some stage we'll get down to the snow, and we'd like to take our kids to the snow. That's one thing we've got a couple of bucket list things that we'd like to do. We'd like to go to the snow. I apologize if you can hear my dog barking. She is running wild out there, and I have the door shut. So let's hope you can't hear her, because boy oh boy, she's a loud chihuahua when she barks. So I'm just going to keep talking, and hopefully she stops and nobody notices. We have several dogs. We have 4 dogs, and two of them are getting on in years. Our Foxy is not as flexible as she used to be, and she struggles with the whole walking thing a bit at the moment in the cold air, but we adore her and we shall persist. So see how I'm doing this? So I'm doing the process for you, and I do most of it, but purely for the length of the video, I had to trim it a bit, because you can imagine how long this takes to trim all these strips and then get them all down. See that messy bit in the middle? I'm not worried about that one little bit, because the photos are going to cover it. So if you decide to give this a go, ignore the centerpiece, because I found once I ignored that bit, I was okay. All the outside sort of sun ray, wow, woohoo bits, they look really good. I'm really happy with that. I did bring the black in purely because I felt I needed to have a contrasting colour, like dramatically contrasting. So that's what I did. Brought in the black. I've cut all these strips at 1/8 of an inch. What is that in Australian? I don't know, because for some reason when it comes to scrapbooking, I do everything in inches. Okay, so it's about 3 mil if you do millimeters. I don't know why. Why is it? Can anyone tell me? Why is it, if you're still with me, which I hope you are, we're at the 12-minute point. We're halfway. We're over halfway. Why is it that scrapbooking is all done in inches? I mean, I went to school and everything, obviously Australia, metric. I'm not old enough to have done the imperial and metric system together. Man, I was hopeless at maths. Can you imagine if I had to do that as well? Woo! That would tip me over the edge. No, it wouldn't have tipped me over the edge. It would have tipped my teachers over the edge. They had enough trouble teaching me. I'm a visual learner. Bit of history on Karren. Where did Karren come from? Okay, so I'm a visual. Do you notice I ditched a photo? I'm down to 3 photos. Why? Because 4 took up way too much of my starbursty thing, and I wanted to see more starbursty. So I dropped it to 3 photos, and I actually think that looks better. So these are the craft foam things that I get from Spotlight. That was really sped up in... Sorry about that. I'll have it... I can't even link it because I'll write down below what it is that I use, but this stuff is getting really expensive and I don't know why. I really don't know why. But anyway, look at that. Worked beautifully. Boom, boom, boom. The reason I lifted that up is just for texture, just for extra. Now, this is the tape that I used to use all the time. But because of doing videos and doing this bit, it's really, I find it frustrating watching my hands struggle to get the tear tape apart. Like, it drives me crackers. Then I nearly put it down without putting glue on it. Whoops, that's a boo-boo. Why do you add the glue? Because eventually the tape may let go. But I can tell you now, that art glitter glue, it is not letting go for nobody. Now I'm using my... What pen is this? That's my Uni-Ball Gel Impact. It's 1mm and it's metallic gold. I have 3 or 4 different um, metallic golds, and they're all different. Some are more yellow, some are more silver. I know. So what I decided to do was use my thin Posca pen, which is the 0.7 millimeter black pen, and just to go around to give it a little bit more definition to pop it off the page. I do realise that I haven't put a title on this page yet, because what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to go around in the little rays, and on the rays I wanted to go around and write gymnastic routine words, things that Jen, she says them, they flow from her like a second language, and I wanted to sort of put them on here. So right at the very end, you'll see how I do it. I'll show you when I made the mistake, and to be honest, I'm not happy with I'm not, whoops, I apologize. I'm not, um, sorry, I just got a message from my daughter's high school. Um, I just need to very quickly, da 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 da. Okay, sorry, I had to read that. So this is where I went through. Now I'm using my thicker black Posca pen. This one is, I didn't write it down. That was genius. It is, now you're going to hear me shaking the pen. zero point 0.9 to 1.3 mil. It's a bullet tip, and it's not my favorite pen to write with, but I needed it to be a little bit thicker. So, and I was hoping it would look better than it did. I've got to be honest, if you're still with me at this point, my creativity, don't judge it on this one. I left it in the video because you know what? Not every video and not every idea is bad. Had I, see how I did that? There's my mistake right there. Handstand. Needed to be written the other way. So I should have started at the top and written, I should have wrote my words so that they flowed down each side. Literally at this point, I was going to throw this in the bin. I kid you not. I'm that much of a perfectionist. I was going to do that. But you know what? This is a space to learn. Not for judgment. This is where we learn. So I left it in so you can see where I went wrong. And I won't make that mistake again. This just won't be one of my favorite. I'm going to do another Starburst. I am. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to make it work. And I'm not going to write the way I did on this one. So the idea in my head, it's because, okay, so everything else that I videoed up until now, in case you haven't noticed that my fingernail polish has changed, up until this point was all done yesterday. So then I thought, with my genius, maybe if I go over and create a shadow with my metallic gold Posca pen, maybe that will dull it down enough that it'll just look really busy and it won't look so wrong. I think it helped a little bit, but it's still not my favourite page. I can tell you now it's already in the cupboard. This will definitely not be one that I promote. I know I'm being super hard on myself, but I know I can do better. I actually am considering not even loading this one up to the channel, unfortunately. So, and that's about it, guys. So I did use Nuvo drops, something I did do, and I zoom in on, and you'll see it in the still photos. I used black Nuvo, ebony black Nuvo drops, and then what I did is I did a tiny little dot of Stickles gold glitter on top of that. So they actually are really raised up, and yeah, they feel really good. So that worked. However, the words, see, if you look at the words like that, it's fine. I'm happy with it. If I'm turning it and it looks, that's what I was going for. But you have to turn the page like that for it to work. Look at all that reflective gold. I think like that, it looks fine. But it's when, yeah, it's all right. Let me know below. Would you chuck it out or would you keep it? Thanks, guys. Bye.